Hello and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Justyna, and if you are a returning viewer or listener, welcome back and thank you for joining me today. So here today I'm going to talk about Mercury retrograde, and here we've got the final retrograde, Mercury retrograde, coming up on the 26th, 27th of November, depending on where in the world you are, at 22 degrees of Sagittarius. And this retrograde ends on the 15th of December at 6 degrees of Sagittarius. The pre-shadow period started on the 7th of November, and the post-shadow period ends on the 2nd of January 2025. All right, so here, Mercury retrograde. In the first part of this video, we will look at the retrograde from the general perspective, and then the second part of the video, we'll look at the analysis for each arising sign. So thank you very much, and let's begin. So first of all, what does Mercury represent in astrology? What does it stand for? Mercury is the planet connected to communication, transportation, contracts, intellectual pursuits as well, anything to do with trade. Now, when Mercury is retrograde, so we often experience setbacks, delays. This is overall a time to reevaluate, reassess, revisit, and work with the energies, experiences that have already been initiated, set in motion, so to speak, before the retrograde phase of Mercury began. Now, Mercury retrograde tends to disrupt our thinking process. Very often, we don't see things as they are through the real colors. And for this reason, it's not a good time for making any major changes, drastic changes, or some big life-changing decisions, because very often when Mercury retrograde is over, we change our mind, and sometimes it's maybe too late, and we might have regrets that perhaps we made the wrong decision. So for this reason, the retrograde phase of Mercury is great for redoing, reassessing, revisiting past experiences, past situations, contracts, etc. Now, at the same time, this is a good time for renewing passports, renewing contracts, renewing connections. Very often during the retrograde phase of Mercury, some people feel like withdrawing from the outside world. There is a stronger need to reassess perhaps your life situations, your life purpose, and your life direction overall. But at the same time, there is a tendency to bump into people that perhaps we haven't seen for quite some time. So it's a great time for reconnecting with people as well. Very often, people from the past come back into our life, and those who are frequently present in our life, they very often withdraw and disappear. This is very often the case. Now, at the same time here, if we think about Sagittarius, Sagittarius is a fire sign, a mutable sign as well, connected to our beliefs, anything to do with adventure, anything to do with our life philosophy, anything to do with travel, foreign places. This is connected to the energy that wants us to broaden our horizons, broaden our wisdom. So at the same time of Mercury retrograde in our life here in Sagittarius, this is about overall reevaluating certain beliefs we may have about a specific area of life activated by this retrograde. So here, have a look if you have any placements between the 6th and the 22nd degree of Sagittarius, because these placements will be especially triggered, and it's all about revisiting, reassessing, redoing, and so on, returning to projects, ideas, goals that were already present in the past. Anything brand new, really be sure that it's something that you want to follow through, because as I said, very often we change our mind, and sometimes we might be very motivated to get on with a certain idea, goal that pops up into our mind during the retrograde phase of Mercury, and then when the retrograde is over, it kind of feels like it doesn't make any sense. So a few practical tips for this retrograde phase. First of all, if you're going to be traveling during this retrograde phase of Mercury, double check any travel plans, communication. Now, at the same time, avoid making any impulsive decisions. think things through, sleep on it if you can, especially if it's connected to any long-term goals, your objectives, your ambitions. Use this time for introspection, for reevaluating the important aspects of your life, because here this retrograde might seem challenging when it comes to gaining a fuller, a bigger picture of a certain situation, but at the same time, it offers this amazing opportunity to refine or reassess, redefine your vision, and perhaps readjust the direction you're heading in your life. All right, so let's have a look what this retrograde brings for us. On an individual level, I'll look at each rising sign. And here, these horoscopes are most accurate for the rising sign. You can also watch them for your moon sign or your sun sign if you wish, just to get a bigger picture and a wider perspective on your life. But always prioritize your rising sign. So thank you very much, and let's begin. Hello, Aries, and welcome to your upcoming Mercury Retrograde horoscope. And here, Mercury Retrograde starts on the 26th, 27th of November, and it will last until the 15th of December, activating your area of the ninth house, so the area of foreign places, travel. But overall, it seems like you will be looking at the direction you are heading in your life. If you're not satisfied fully with where you're heading, with current life situation, then this is a time to think deeply and carefully about the next step you want to take. So it's all about reviewing, reassessing your current life situation, the direction you're heading as well. Now, here, this retrograde might also prompt you to reassess your beliefs, to reevaluate your life principles, your belief system. You might see yourself returning to some intellectual projects from the past connected to languages, connected to studying, learning about worldly events, whatever that you're interested in. Now, if you've always wanted to be a coach or work for an international organization, aviation even, industry, then here this sort of thoughts might also return into your mind. You might be reviewing, reassessing, revisiting some of your past goals. This is also connected to anything to do with updating your passport or visa. So also check the dates. It's a good time for renewing any paper documents as well. And overall, if you'll be traveling, make sure that you check everything before you leave. It's about being one step ahead. And here, Mercury rules also your sixth house, your third house. You might experience some communication setbacks at times. So it's important to be as clear, as transparent as you can to avoid any confusions and misunderstandings. Of course, delay if you can any making important decisions. Keep all your receipts, because sometimes we also change our mind and when it comes to any purchases we make during the retrograde phase. But other than that, thank you very much, and let's have a look at the next sign. Hello, Taurus, and welcome. So we've got the retrograde phase of Mercury starting on the 25th, 26th, 27th of November, lasting until the 15th of December. So roughly 3 weeks. And this is your eighth house that is connected to deep emotions, healing energies, but overall, anything to do with investments, partnerships. The eighth house deals with money that comes through different sources in our regular income. This is generally connected to support that we receive through friends, family, and external influences as well. Now, here with Mercury retrograde, you might receive money that was delayed, that you have been already waiting for quite some time. It might finally arrive. This could be also connected to receiving refunds as well. Now, with the retrograde phase of Mercury, it's also a good time for reassessing your financial situation, where you stand financially, how are you doing financially when it comes to especially your credit cards, anything to do with loans and debts. It's a good time for reassessing this area of your life in order to make better decisions moving forward. And at the same time, this is also a good time for healing of any deep emotions, deep feelings as well. So there is a lot of introspective energy that will prompt you to withdraw, that will prompt you to think deeper about the important aspects of your life. Now, here, Mercury also rules your fifth house and also your second house. So, definitely, there is this need to reassess your financial situation. But at the same time, this could be also related to returning to some hobbies, interests, passions connected to growth and personal development as well. Thank you very much. And let's have a look at Geminis. Geminis, welcome. We've got this retrograde activating your area of the seventh house. So here, personal relationships, one-to-one connection. So the first thing that comes into my mind is, of course, reconnecting with people you haven't seen or spoken to for quite some time. This is very much the case. This is a good time for reassessing, reevaluating your connections in your life, one-to-one connections, especially past relationships or some unresolved issues from the past might resurface around this time. It's a great time for seeking resolution, for resolving any problems there might be, but at the same time, you might also experience delays when it comes to some new contracts, new agreements as well. So overall, this retrograde is amazing for healing any important connections in your life, for getting back in touch with people that truly, truly mean something to you, and for resolving any issues, problems within the connections, relationships. But at the same time, any brand new contracts, any brand new agreements, make sure you read the small print. If you have to sign them, you have to sign them. Of course, we have to move forward with our lives. We can't stop living just because the retrograde is there. But here it's important to be just aware and conscious of the decisions that you'll be making in during the retrograde phase of Mercury. Now, at the same time, Mercury, of course, is your chart ruler. Then this indicates that you will be reassessing your goals, your achievements, objectives, the direction you're heading with your life. If you're dissatisfied, this is a good time to think carefully, perhaps what important changes you can implement to feel more fulfilled, to feel more happy in your life. And simultaneously here, this could be also related to some ex-romantic relationships or ex-colleagues, ex-connections getting back in touch with you. It's very, very much often the case. Communicate as clearly as you can during this time as well. I think this is also when you might be reassessing your personal style, your physical appearance as well, your hairstyle, personal style overall, but at the same time, any drastic and major changes here, think carefully, make sure that this is definitely what you want. Thank you very much, and let's have a look at the next sign. Hello, Cancers, and welcome. Got the retrograde phase of Mercury activating your sixth house of everyday routine. Anything to do with your daily life, your lifestyle, your work, your diet. So it's a great time for thinking deeper about what you eat, what you put in your body overall. This is a great time for reassessing your diet overall. A great time for thinking about the positive, healthy changes you could implement to improve your lifestyle, to improve your health. Now, the sixth house retrograde, this is also an area of life connected to the need to reassess your daily life, your lifestyle, your daily reality. There are some habits that perhaps fulfill their purpose, that don't contribute positively into your life. Then it's a great time for letting go and perhaps for implementing some changes and for bringing some to make space overall for something new and exciting to come your way. Now, this is also a good time for reapplying for any positions that you applied for in the past. Perhaps you didn't get that opportunity, but this time around it could be very different. So here it's all about reassessing, reevaluating, and here with Mercury ruling over your 12th house and your third house, communicate as clearly as you can during this time. There's a tendency to experience setbacks or misunderstandings, especially since Mercury rules your third house of communication. And at the same time, you might have a need every now and then to withdraw, to contemplate, and that's okay. All right, so let's have a look at Leos. Leos, welcome. Got a retrograde phase of Mercury activating your fifth house, but also here, Mercury rules your second and the 11th house. So overall, with the fifth house activation is all about reassessing how much happiness, how much joy there is in your life, how much time you have to yourself, to for your hobbies, for your interests. A great time for returning to hobbies and interests that perhaps you left. Or if you forgot about something that perhaps you were very passionate about in the past. Maybe you were overly involved in your relationship or perhaps in your family dynamics, and perhaps you forgot about what really brings or gives you happiness and makes you feel um, joyful and happy. So it's a great time for returning to hobbies, interests from the past. This is also a fantastic time for reevaluating your parenting style, your relationship with your children. The romantic side of life is also activated, and perhaps if there isn't enough spark and romance in your life, then perhaps you will be thinking about the necessary changes you want to implement and perhaps new activities you want to implement to find more happiness, to find more romance and excitement, passion in your romantic relationship. But that will be after the retrograde of Mercury is over. Now, with the second house activation, this is about also receiving money that perhaps was delayed, and it could be deposited into your bank account around this time. Any purchases you make here during the retrograde phase of Mercury, if you're not sure about the purchase, save your receipt. You might change your mind once the retrograde phase is over. And at the same time, with Mercury ruling over your 11th house, this is about reconnecting with friends you haven't seen or contacted for quite some time. So you might get in touch with people that perhaps you haven't seen for quite a long time, and simultaneously they might also return back into your reality. You might see yourself also reevaluating your long-term goals, long-term plans as well. Right, so let's have a look at the Virgos. Virgos, this is a very important time for you, of course, because Mercury is your chart ruler. Whenever Mercury is retrograde, it impacts you on a personal level because it prompts you to reassess your goals, the direction you're heading with your life. If you're not satisfied, then this is a great time for thinking about the positive changes you can implement to find more fulfillment, to find more happiness in your own reality. But at the same time, here we've got also Gemini rules over your 10th house. So you will be thinking about your career. You will be thinking about the next step you want to take, anything to do with reassessing your outside world, your outside reality, your public life. This is very much also here highlighted during the retrograde phase of Mercury, because also Saturn has recently stationed direct on the 15th of November. So there is this forward momentum, the energy is prompting you to move forward with certain goals, ideas, but this retrograde phase could slow things down, make you reassess the direction you're heading, for example, during in the upcoming future. Here, overall, this retrograde will be in your fourth house. So you will be reassessing your home situation, family dynamics, family relationships as well. Now, if you've been wanting to implement some changes into your home, or if this is connected to finding more comfort, more nurturing energy in the area of home, then here Mercury retrograde will prompt you to think deeply, to reassess, reevaluate your current home situation and see what is missing, what is out of alignment as well. It's a great time for also for healing of the emotional side of your psyche as well. But at the same time, here it's all about finding solutions to some issues or problems that may have appeared in the recent past. And here, Mercury retrograde can help you to reassess, to see things from a very different angle. And once the retrograde is over, you will begin to implement the necessary adjustments, changes to find more happiness in this area of your life. All right, so Libras, for you, this retrograde will be in your third house. The third house deals with communication, your mindset, your thinking process, but at the same time, your siblings, your community, short distance travel. If you're going to be traveling around this time, make sure you leave early or perhaps check if there aren't any roadworks along the way, if there aren't any disruptions as well that could cause frustration, that could cause delay. So generally with the retrograde phase of Mercury, we need to be one step ahead because things might happen out of the blue and they might change our plans or twist our plans, and we might have to find a quick solution. So here the Sagittarius, the mutable energy of Sagittarius wants us to be flexible and adaptable wherever possible. But here with Mercury retrograde, this is about possibly experiencing setbacks, misunderstandings, if you're not clear, if you're not transparent. So it's very important to be clear when you communicate in various ways through words, through verbal communication, through emails, whatever it is. Check your junk box regularly during this time as well. It's very often the case when we send an email or receive an email, it ends up in a junk box, and we wait for this email or we wait for the reply, and it's not coming. Nothing is coming. So definitely keep an eye on your junk box. Now, this is also about returning to some hobbies, activities, especially connected to anything intellectual from the past, something that perhaps you didn't have a chance to complete. And whether this is any short courses, anything to do with working with your hands. This could be also about revisiting locations that perhaps you visited in the past, something that perhaps opens new perspectives and new opportunities. So you might see yourself returning to these places. This is also about reassessing, reevaluating your connections within your immediate community. If there are some issues with your siblings, you might see yourself also perhaps finding solutions to any problems there might have emerged, or yeah, there might be overall between yourself and your sibling, your neighbor, for example. Anything unresolved from the past might come back into the surface as well, but here prompting you to face this challenge, to face the reality and move on. It's all about seeing the bigger picture here with that Sagittarius energy. All right, so we've got Scorpios now. Scorpios, this is happening in your second house. So your finances, your income, resources, possessions are highlighted here. So overall, Mercury retrograde in the second house. This is generally about reassessing your finances, your income situation, financial security and stability is very much highlighted. You might see yourself budgeting, looking at your bank statements. Opportunities from the past might resurface as well, connected to financial goals, perhaps your financial goals. But at the same time here, keep your receipts of any purchases that you make during this time, because you might change your mind. And if you don't have the receipt, then it might be a little bit annoying that you can't actually return the item that you purchased during the retrograde phase. And overall, here with Mercury retrograde in the second house, this is also connected to receiving money that was owned to you. So it might be finally returned to you. It might be deposited into your bank account. Any finances you've been expecting, if they've been delayed, especially. Here, overall, try to avoid making any major purchases or investments during this time because there could be some errors, there could be some delays, and overall, this could cause unnecessary frustration. This is generally a time to bring more structure and more form and shape to your financial area of life, your goals, financial goals. But at the same time, Mercury rules over your area of friendships and also your eighth house. So anything to do with investment, anything to do with also deep connections, healing. So it's a time when you might be thinking about the deeper aspects of your life, but at the same time, there is an opportunity for healing any deep emotions and feelings. And here with the Mercury ruling over your 11th house, you might see yourself reconnecting with people that you haven't seen for quite some time. Here, you might bump into someone quite unexpectedly when you're out and about, or you might receive an unexpected email from a friend, acquaintance that also you haven't seen or spoken to for quite some time. But at the same time, this is also about reevaluating your friendships. Thank you very much, and let's move into Sagittarius. Sagittarius, right. So this retrograde is very important, of course. It's happening in your first house. And here, what this means is that you will be thinking deeper about the direction you're heading in your life, your personal goals, your objectives. your long-term goals as well. So it's very much connected to the self, to your also to your style, to your physical appearance as well. Now, this isn't a good time for making any big drastic changes, of course. Mercury can cloud our judgment, can make us think slightly different to what we would think otherwise. So for this reason, it's better to avoid making any important or major life-changing decisions if you can. At least sleep on it. Now, here overall, you might see yourself reconnecting with people you haven't seen for quite some time. This is about reassessing, generally taking a really, really close look at your life, the direction you're heading, as I mentioned earlier. Here, any mistakes, anything that perhaps didn't work out in your life, any life lessons might also resurface in your thoughts, in your dreams, through perhaps conversations you might have with other people. But this is generally a time to put some of these memories, experiences to rest and maybe learn from them, take look at them as valuable lessons. At the same time, Mercury rules over your 10th house of career, outside world, public life. So here again, you are reassessing the outside world, your objectives, your ambitions, your goals. So it's all about really thinking carefully and deeply uh, whether you're heading in the right direction in your life or whether you're not sure if you are. Perhaps you might be in two minds. Well, this is a great chance for definitely writing things down, thinking deeply, and for reassessing your overall reality. Now, Mercury also rules over your seventh house. And here, with that in mind, this is very much connected to reassessing your connections, relationships in your life, contracts, agreements. So, for this reason, if you have to sign a contract, so of course, if you have to, you have to move on. But at the same time, here, make sure that you read the small print. Make sure that you're happy with all the terms and conditions. It's a great time for renewing contracts, but anything brand new requires a little bit of research and thinking things through. But overall, thank you very much, Sagittarius, and let's move into the next sign. Capricorns, welcome. We've got a Mercury retrograde starting very soon, 26th, 27th of November until December the 15th. And here, this is activating your 12th house, so a really introspective energy that might prompt you to withdraw, to contemplate a lot about your life, about your reality, about your achievements. But at the same time, your dreams might be very, very vivid around this time, and they might offer solutions to any problems you might be experiencing around this time. So definitely pay attention to your dreams. You might experience a certain degree of misunderstandings, especially when communicating, dealing with other people. Be as transparent and clear as you can, especially since Mercury retrograde in the 12th house can make you feel like you're not understood, can make you feel like you're not being heard, and this can generally prompt further withdrawal. Now, at the same time, here with Mercury retrograde in the 12th house, it's a great time for journaling, for writing things down, because there could be lots of thoughts racing through your mind, and you might find it useful if you write things down and if you look at them. And perhaps it will be easier to generally reassess, reevaluate certain situations you are dealing with around this time. Here, with Mercury retrograde ruling over your ninth house, you might also have a stronger need to reassess your beliefs, reassess your life philosophy. And this is a great time for returning to projects, ideas, goals that perhaps you studied, you were engaged with in the past, foreign languages, for example. It's a great time for also renewing any passports or visas, applications. This is something that you've been wanting to do. Mercury retrograde is great for renewing, reassessing, redoing. But anything brand new, it's better to delay it if possible, because we often see things from a very different eye when Mercury is retrograde and then when Mercury stations direct. Sometimes we regret the decisions that we made that came up into our mind during the retrograde phase of Mercury. So it's a different kind of perception of a reality overall. Mercury rules over your sixth house as well. So you might be also reviewing your daily life, your lifestyle, your daily routine, your habits. It's a great time for generally for deciding your lifestyle. So it's a great time for reassessing your diet, what you eat. Is it healthy? Is it nutritious as well? And it's a great time for overall for letting go of any habits, negative habits, routines that negatively contribute to your daily life, to your overall well-being. So thank you very much, and let's have a look at Aquarius. Aquarius, welcome. We've got the retrograde phase of Mercury happening from the 26th, 27th of November until the 15th of December. So what does it mean for you? This is your 11th house. So of course, you will be reviewing and assessing your friendships, your social circle, how you fit into your social circle, whether you do or not, how you feel about your connections. Are there any connections that have a negative impact upon your well-being, for example? This is about taking a closer look at generally the people, the people that you surround yourself with in your life, the groups that you belong to as well. You might very well see yourself reconnecting with people from the past. You might bump into someone that you haven't seen for ages, just quite unexpectedly while out and about. But at the same time, this retrograde might also prompt you or stimulate you, to encourage you to reassess your long-term goals, your long-term plans. If you enjoy creating a vision map and it's something that you do regularly, but perhaps this time around you didn't do it, and perhaps you might be returning to this kind of idea. And here with Mercury ruling over your fifth house, this is about reassessing, reevaluating your parenting style, the romantic side of your life, hobbies and interests. So you might see yourself returning to some hobbies, interests, creative projects that perhaps you left behind. And also here with the eighth house activation, Mercury rules over your eighth house as well. This is about generally healing, reassessing your finances, but it's not just your income, but mostly any investments, mortgage debts, credit card statements as well. It's not a good time for making any investments actually, because you might experience delays. You might actually make the wrong decisions, or there could be some errors as well. So generally think carefully about anything brand new that you want to initiate. It's better to deal with the energies that were already in play before the retrograde of Mercury began. Right, so thank you very much. Let's have a look at Pisces. Pisces, welcome. We've got Mercury retrograde happening in your 10th house. So here, your outside world, your public life, your career life, the direction you're heading with your life. This is all very much highlighted. So if there is a certain degree of dissatisfaction, confusion, cloudiness, then here it might come up to the surface during the retrograde phase of Mercury, prompting, encouraging you, stimulating you to reassess your outside world, your public image, your career objectives, ambitions, and your retirement plans, for example, as well. So here, reassessing, reviewing, reevaluating, this is all very much connected to these energies. But at the same time, Mercury retrograde might also make you reconnect with ex-coworkers, ex-bosses, for example, people from connected to your profession, to your career. Even if you are retired now, you might reconnect with someone that you used to work with, for instance. So this is all very much often the case as well. Mercury rules over your fourth house. So here, home and family dynamics are also highlighted. Not satisfied with your current home situation. If you don't feel like there is enough comfort, security, emotional stability, then it will come up, it will show up during this time. And here, giving you a chance to reassess, reevaluate. It's all about finding practical solutions to any problems, issues, or any discomfort that there might be in the area of home, emotional well-being as well. It's a great time for renewing a home contract, home agreement as well. Anything brand new, really think it through, because it's generally overall December is not great for starting anything brand new, because we've got Mercury retrograde, Mars retrograde as well. And it's just the energies are kind of like a little bit mixed. There's a mix of energies in the air, and that generally indicates a certain degree of delays, a certain degree of kind of confusion, potential lack of clarity, especially with Mercury retrograde. Mars could slow down our progress, make us maybe demotivated at times, lacking a clear sense of direction. So for this reason, December overall is great for working with what we have already established. We can't constantly start something new and continuously move forward with new goals. We need to work on what we have already started, even if it's very, very recent, because it's important to make sure that there is structure, there is consistency, that we're doing things effectively. Maybe something is lacking form and shape, and here the retrograde phase of Mercury will make it apparent and visible as well. So here with Pisces being a mutable sign, same as Sagittarius, we've got the mutable angles here activated mostly because it's Gemini and Sagittarius. So you've got, of course, we've got the 10th, the 7th, and the 4th house activated energy. So it's all about reassessing, reviewing the important aspects of your life, your home life, your outside world, the direction you're heading in your life, but also your one-to-one connections, contracts, agreements as well. So you might experience some misunderstandings. So overall, renewing, reassessing contracts, and if there's some situation that perhaps was unresolved in the past connected to your one-to-one connections, might resurface at this time, giving you a chance to resolve it and move forward into the healthier future. So thank you very much and all the best.